Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Laura with Stitching with Laura. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. I had to think what day it is. I am just too tired for words. So today, I hope you're having a great day and a great week because today's hump day. I thought we'd go over a couple of things and I brought out a couple of examples because somebody wanted to asked me a couple questions and I thought, well, maybe, not everybody knows all this. So we're going to start with pre-stamped cross stitch. Now, when I get a pre-stamped, this is the Macaws by Joy. It says Scarlet Macaw by Joy Sunday. And when I get it, it is, let me get the thread out of the way, long and skinny. So the first thing that I do with it, as you can see, it kind of goes, okay. So I will take the whole thing. Somebody asked, how do you, I don't know, the word is condition. For me, it's not condition. I just get it so that I can work on it because sometimes it's just, whoops, a little stiff for me. Now this one is exceptionally stiff. So I will show you what I do to the canvas when I get it. First, you get the needle out of the way because, that's going to cause more problems than it's worth. And today I've really got to go to work because, it is what it is. So anyway, I start at the bottom and I just start rolling it like this. Now this one's kind of exceptionally long, and maybe I shouldn't have started with this one, but yeah. But I just roll it in one direction, like that, and then I undo it, and that kind of softens up the canvas just a little bit, and then I start at the other end and go backwards, and as I'm going, I'm kind of crunching it across. Now you don't have to do this to the whole canvas. You can just do it to the part where you're going to work. Let's say I was going to start here at the bottom. And this is an 11 count, so I know I'm going to need 3 strands of thread. But you can go and do that, all the way down if you want. But I just kind of crunch it up so that it's easier to hold in my hands. So I just kind of give it a, and kind of work the fibers back and forth like so. And then roll it again, just until it's gotten some of the stiffness out of it. And then I'll lay it down and I'll start to stitch. But that way, this one has serging all the way around the edges. I don't know if you can see that or not. Where is my light? But it's got serging all the way up and down and all the way around the whole thing. Sometimes Joy Sunday does that for all the kids and sometimes not. But it doesn't really matter to me. But since this material is kind of stiff, I just work it a little bit. And after you've had, and I do it in hand, because there's no way my hands can get it into a hoop. And this is so close to the edge, it's not going to happen for me. Some people do put it in a hoop, they put it in a Q-snap. I don't own a decent size Q-snap, and I've tried Q-snaps, and they're too wide for my arthritic hands, so I just stitch in hand. And the material is stiff enough that it'll hold up while you're stitching. You don't have to worry about, just don't pull it terribly, terribly tight. Yeah, don't do that. So that is what I do to so-called condition the material. And you can see down here where it's a little wrinkled, but that's so that I can hang on to it. And I usually start in in whatever corner you want, or start on the bird, whatever. But I would get that material, you know, crunched down and moved around a little bit, you know. And I don't know, some people have arthritis in their hands like I do. I don't have it bad, but some days it's enough. I just start right here because it's easiest to hold on to, and then you can just kind of fold it up as you go to keep stitching. So I hope that made some kind of sense, but that's what I do. And like I said, I just start on a corner because it's easier to hang on to. And so by the time you get to the middle, it's already, the fabric is conditioned, if you will. Do not put this in water because all your pretty little symbols will just disappear. So that's what I do with the stamped cross stitch. Now, when I do counted cross stitch, somebody else asked, it's a whole different ball game. So I've just got an example piece of fabric. I know this is 16 count because that's all I usually ever buy. Every once in a while, I'll buy 14 count. So keep that number, whichever it is, 14 or 16, in your brain, okay? Now, on the top of your pattern, whatever pattern you're using, it'll say it's 125 by 200, and I'm just throwing numbers, 250, all right? So in order to figure out how big of a piece of material that you need to take 125 and divide it by, say, 14 or 16 or whatever. Okay? Well, that didn't work, but use your calculator, okay? So you figure that out, and then you take the 250 divided by whatever size of fabric you're using, 14 or 16, so we'll put 14 there just for the example. And it will tell you that you need your piece of fabric to be because this will be wide and this will be high, your high number, wide, high. And then it will tell you need it to be, say, you throw in numbers, 12 inches across by so many inches down. Okay? Now, you can figure it out this way, or you can go to 123stitch.com, and under the fabric section, scroll all the way to the bottom, and it will say Ada converter, or it will say linen. It'll say both. Converter. It'll say linen / even weave. So if you're using like 28 count Lugana or 32 count Lugana or whatever, you're going to use this one. If you're going to use Ada, you use the Ada converter. When you get there, it'll say, we need your pattern size, so to speak. So it'll have a slot for you to put the 125, and then a next slot will be 250, because it'll say buy that. And then it'll ask you how much of an edge do you want around your material. So you can either put 2 to 3 inches, whichever you put in the number, 2 or 3. Then you come down and it'll say fabric count. So in that slot you will put 14 or 16, whichever, or 18 or whatever size you have. You'll put that in there, and then you'll hit convert. And it will tell you on the side your fabric size, what size you need, and it's already compensated for your 2 or 3 inches. Whoops. And it'll also say your design size. So that's what your pattern whole size is going to be. And then you'll know where your fabric and how big a piece of fabric to purchase and what your design size is. You'll get some kind of and I don't know if there's a place there that says inches or centimeters or whatever. I don't know if there's a slash. Never paid attention because I'm always looking for the inches. Okay? So, let's say you've got your fabric size and you know how big your design is going to be. So, and you know what you said that you wanted. Whether it's going to be, let me get this over here a little bit, 2 inches in. So this would be 2 inches this way. So I would just put a dot, because it's not going to matter. You can use a pencil. And there, so you just line that up with that. So this little dot is where you're going to start, if you're going to start in this corner. Now you can do this, so that's a 2-inch square. And remember, if you've got this, the salvage end, come down. I'm just using this for an example, okay? I know that that's not where I'm going to start. Okay, so then, now if you can do this in any corner. There are also people that take the fabric, and I've never done this. Let's say this is a square piece, all right? I don't have a square piece. And fold it so that it's a square right in the middle. And you get a hold of a pin. We could get it out of there. And they put a pin right in the center. And then you open up your fabric again. And I'm just going to leave it, sitting straight up. Or, no, we'll just lay it there. But can you see? I'm going to pull it down. Where is it? Okay. So that, let's say that's the center of your fabric. On your pattern, it should have a little arrow that says, points right here, and this is where you're starting the center. I have not had luck with that, so I always start at the top or the bottom corner. And I usually start with the left-hand corner of my material and go work my way down. Now, granted, I have the 2 Bristol samplers. The first Bristol I got, it's all letters, right? So when I got the second one, I thought, I don't want to do letters. I don't want to have 2 going that I got to work on letters. So I'm going to start at the bottom because that's where the motifs are. Doesn't matter. You can start in the top or the bottom of your material, just as long as you know where you're going. And I find it easier. I don't have Pattern Keeper. We'll start there. It's easier for me to see it and start with, say, the first page of the pattern. So 9 out of 10 times, they're going to start in the upper left-hand corner. So you mark where your 2-inch thing is. Now you could very easily put a pin where, instead of marking on the fabric. Makes no difference how you mark it, just so you know that that's where I'm going to start, okay? And I just start stitching, and I'll count, let's say it's got like a solid border, so I'll count over, not count per se, just stitch over a little bit, going in one side, and I'll start going down this way. Then I have something to go from, so that I move, I don't know how to explain it. Now, if you have a pattern for, say, like this, This is in the middle. So I just leave enough around the edge and just start. Let me pull you in. Hang on. Okay, so this doesn't have a border, right? Okay, let me back out just a bit. This doesn't have its own border. So I would just start right here. I'd make sure that there's at least 2 or 3 inches around this whole thing. And just start up here. Now you can start very well right here as long as you've got 2 or 3 inches on each side. You know, all the way around. Because that way you know that that motif is going to fit right there. I already have figured out my fabric size. I've already figured out how big the design is. I hope this is all making sense. So I would just start, let's say you want to start with these letters. Whatever's easiest. And I found it's way easier with Ada to count because you have all your squares that you're going to stitch in present and accounted for, okay? So if I were starting to do counted cross stitch, I would start with Ada because it's a lot easier to count it than even weave or linen. And until you get onto it, and then you can progress to something else. I mean, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with. But that's how I start a counted cross stitch. And I've just never had luck. I always get paranoid. If I start in the middle, it's not going to have that 2 or 3 inch border. No matter how much I count, I measure, not happening. So, but that's just me. That's my own little paranoia. So that's why I would start, let's say this is a sampler, okay? I just start at the bottom and make as many motifs as it goes across. Or if the pattern's cut in half, you know, it's a bigger thing, you know, just do how many is on that page. And then go up as many as that is on that page. And then I will do the next border, and then whatever comes next, you know, the little things. It's easier to count up your stitches if you have like a block squared, so to speak. I mean, I don't want you to not stitch, you know, something like this that's like this, that's free floating, because you certainly can. Just start with a motif and it'll tell you in the pattern where to go next, you know, what the next, we'll call it symbol is, you know. Oh, I got to change colors there or whatever, and I only make so many stitches across. It takes a little doing, you know, and a little bit of thinking, and that's why I have pre-stamped in the background going, yeah, we can stitch on that today, because everything's laid out for you, you know, on the pre-stamped. It's already there. I just stitch where the color is. So, yeah, that's how I do that. And I hope that explains it enough. And if you have any questions, please ask me in the comment section below. I will be more than happy to try to answer it. If I don't know it, I will send you to somebody that is a total expert. You know, some of your best people are like, I'm trying to think. Well, Kimberly from the Attic. Is it the Attic? Oh my God. I can't even think. Kimberly Young. Just type in Kimberly Young. She has her own store. She knows everything about everything. And also, is it Jean Farish? Jean Farish. Jean. Jean Farish. She does a lot of the, you know, things and shows you how to do certain stitches. She shows you how to start things, but they're really good at it. And another person that is really good is, I think it's Kimberly Jolly with Fat Quarter Shop. She's really good about that, and she works on Ada. So you just need to get past all the fear and all the garbage and just start with something that maybe is in a box. Do you know what I mean? Where it's, got a line, and then you can go up and it's easy to count, up. Like you need to go up 3 stitches or 2 stitches. But when you get into even weaving and all that, you got to count twice as much, like 4, because you're going to go over 2 strands 9 out of 10 times. Okay? I hope that helps and that answers everybody's question. But don't be afraid of it. Start with Ada, something simple where you can see all your squares. It's kind of like going from pre-stamped to this, because it's all still squares and you can count, and it's much easier to count. So I hope that helps. I know this isn't going to be a very long video, but I wanted to address this because somebody said they were starting their first counted. They didn't know what to do or where to go. So I hope that this helps, and others, were on the pre-stamped. So I try to put out a video like this to help people to get started. And, there's no rhyme or reason, where you start on a pre-stamped. I just pick a color and just go. If I want to get the bird done first, or where's my piece of paper here? Get the bird done, or I want to get the flowers or whatever. Do not, on pre-stamped, do the back stitch before you do the cross stitch. It won't happen, because your back stitching will all be lost. So if it has any kind of back stitching or French knots, just do all the cross stitch first. Now, granted, you could work, let's say, this much of the pattern. Let me get you into frame here. This much of the pattern, and let's say you had to back stitch these leaves. Then make sure all your cross stitch, let's say you're done with all the cross stitches, then put in the back stitches or French knots. You can do that as you go along. You don't have to finish the whole project, because if I leave that back stitch until last, we're just messed up completely. So just do like a section, do the back stitching, and then go on. So by the time you get all the way up here, you're 3/4, at the top. Sorry, it's kind of long. Then you're done. You've done all your back stitches and French knots or whatever. It's done. Now, some people like to leave all that back stitching for the last. It doesn't appeal to me, but because I just figure if that's all I got to do, then I'm kind of messed up. Because I like a little variety, because you get a little tired of just doing the stitches. Just do a section at a time. Nobody's pushing you. It's not a race. Just do it at your own pace, and that's what makes it fun. And find out, well, I can do just a little bit of back stitching, and I got that done. So it drives you on to finish the whole piece. I hope that makes sense. Whoops, got out of focus there. My bad. I moved too fast, and it went crazy. So hopefully all these hints will help. Like I said, if you have any questions at all, I better put that away, or we're just going to be messed up again. If you have any questions, please ask me in the thing below in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. If you need any more instructions or anything more in depth, it's not hard. It's just kind of like switching gears. If all you've ever done is pre-stamped, well, there's like an open canvas. It's like, whoa, it's like an abyss. To me, it was an abyss. So concentrate right in the center, or not the center, but right where you're stitching and getting one motif done. And then you can get the next one. And then you can get the next one. It'll just keep moving you along. So don't take it as a whole. Now, everybody I've heard say, if you're doing a blackbird, do the whole outside border. It'll make it so much easier. I don't know that for a fact, because it's like, yeah, I know. I can't because I want to get to the chewy center in the middle. I want all the goodies that I'm going to get to stitch in the center, so I never do that. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. That's just how I do it, all right? And all this is my opinion, not how somebody else does it. This is just how I do it. So I hope that helped. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and please hit the bell, and that way you'll know when my next video comes out. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye. Keep stitching.